Can I run my airbags at 0 PSI? Well, first up, what's an airbag? An airbag is a product generally fitted to the rear suspension of a vehicle to assist the springs with additional load support. This can be fitted to a leaf spring vehicle or a coil sprung vehicle. They're different with how they're designed, but it can be used in either application. The general concept of an airbag is you can inflate the bag to a higher pressure when you're fully loaded or towing for extra load support, and then you can release that air out of the bag and run a lower pressure when you're unloaded to give you some variability in that load support. So can I run my airbag at 0 PSI when I'm empty? Generally, in most applications, the answer is no. Now there's a couple reasons for that. One is generally when we fit an airbag, we remove the bump stop. If it's a leaf spring vehicle, the bump stop will be removed from the chassis to fit the airbag in its place. And if it's a coil sprung vehicle, the bump stop from inside the coil spring will also be removed to make way for fitment of the airbag. A bump stop's job is to limit the suspension travel. So when your suspension compresses, it gets to a point where it's going to contact the bump stop, and that avoids any damage to shocks, springs, chassis, driveline, etc. Because we've removed those bump stops when we've fitted the airbag, we do need to maintain a minimum pressure in the bag because the airbag is actually acting as your bump stop and stopping your suspension from compressing too far. So if you do run your airbags at 0 PSI and you bottom out your suspension, you risk damaging your suspension components or your vehicle. You can also risk damaging the airbag itself. Much like a tube on a tyre, you can pinch the airbag. If it's compressed too far, it'll pinch, create a split, and then it will no longer hold air and no longer be serviceable. In summary, we would generally recommend finding out the minimum pressure for your specific airbag kit in your application, which is generally going to be around 5 to 10 PSI.